Hey, how you doing? This is Dr. Dave with Dr. Abby, and Dr. Abby's going to be reading this week's blog slash vlog, and I'll be doing the color commentary. It seems to be the best way to do that. This week's blog is entitled, Brothers and Sisters, I See the Light, and hopefully you will be too.
Or maybe you won't be, as you will see in this latest blog. As always, thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate that. We've been seeing a little bit more commentary on the videos and people talking about it when they're in the office, which has been really cool.
Yeah.
Like my dad continues to say, these really should just be conversation starters. We're not sitting here trying to, be another one of those muckety mucks trying to shove information down your throat. We're really trying to just start creating those connections so you can see and do and live for yourself and see the benefits.
And that's all it is. If you can use the information, fantastic. If you can't, well then, don't. I mean, really, that's all it is. It's just something to get that, as my dad or grandfather used to say, work that muscle between your ears a little bit.
All right, so researchers believe that there may be a link between exposure to bright artificial light and poor health, namely artificial blue light, and, are you ready for this, weight gain, insulin resistance, obesity, and other diseases and disorders of metabolism, all the nasty stuff that you do not want.
Oh my goodness, we heard that, no pun intended, with all the noise stuff last week, with the vlog and the video and the blog about how noise does all this stuff. Now, artificial blue light also creates all of these health problems.
So before getting too far along, what's the difference between natural blue light and artificial blue light? Natural blue light is found with the whole spectrum of other wavelengths that create what we call white light. It is part of all 12 light/color wavelengths. Artificial blue light is a man-generated thing which is produced by removing the yellow, red, and orange wavelengths from light, leaving the blue and green waves. This disturbs the natural balance of light and makes it troublesome. This is seen mostly in LED lights and those lights used in tablets, cell phones, laptops, flat screen TVs, and light bulbs, fluorescent and LED.
Oh no, all of that? And I thought cell phones were good for us, and TVs and computer screens and laptops and all of this stuff. It was so good for us.
And we've seen this logic before, where instead of just eating nutrient-dense whole foods, or in this case, getting natural sunlight, food manufacturers remove what they think is the healthy part or the bad part and sell us their new and improved versions of Mother Nature. It never works, and it never will work.
Yeah, and it won't work with light either. To get natural sunlight, well, we're going to extract the best parts, and it's like the thing that makes the best parts best is everything else. Think of your favorite band or sports team. Is it one person? Really, is it one person? Is it the one guy out there on the field? Is it the one musician? Or is it, when this guy plays this break, it's the rhythm guitar, it's the bass, it's the drums. Oh no, we're just going to put this one guy out there and he's going to sit and shriek into a microphone and do this. And it's like,
So eat your nutrients-dense whole foods in natural daylight and you will be set.
There it is. Vlog is over.
Honestly. So what problems are associated with artificial blue light? The first one is increased insulin resistance and higher peak glucose levels. People who are exposed to artificial light and blue light throughout the day tended to be heavier than those who limited artificial light and got more natural sunlight throughout the day. In the evening, when lighting should be dimmer and more aligned with orange, red, and yellow wavelengths, kind of think as, if we didn't have artificial light, when the sun goes down, the light sources go down as well.
Yeah, you would have the fire.
Mm-hmm.
So there would be lights that come from like a campfire or something. Or even you'll see that as the sun starts to set, a lot of the blue-greens go away, more of the oranges, the reds and yellows and stuff appear.
A whole bunch of not so good things happen when artificial blue light from screens, LED, and fluorescent bulbs were coupled with eating. People experienced greater insulin resistance and higher blood glucose levels, and were not able to get their blood glucose levels back to baseline afterwards.
That's very important. So you get what that's saying is that your cells become more resistant to insulin. So you need the insulin to put the glucose into the cells for food. And then not only that, the cells, well, they're resistant to it, but then your glucose levels go up.
What this means is that bright artificial lights and meals after noon tend to lead to higher risk of insulin resistance, obesity, type 2 diabetes, and metabolic syndrome. So much for late night eating, snacking, and staring at screens.
Yeah.
And something else that can happen, a lot of times we, tend to get in this go model where we're, just shoveling food in our face while we're staring at a screen. Our body and our brain is actually not able to then comprehend the fact that we are putting food in our mouth, we are digesting, we're supposed to be secreting these different enzymes to help break down the food, because our brain is like, no, we're not even close to eating right now. So really, something that I've started doing, which is kind of silly, is making sure my phone is away from me. I'm not looking at a screen or anything when I'm eating, and I'm actually acknowledging the food that I'm eating, which sounds totally woo-woo, but I'm like, wow, look at this salmon. Wow, this is gonna be so good, full of the omegas, everything like that. Or I'm gonna have a handful of blueberries, that type of thing. So really just getting in communication with your food, which sounds very weird, but it can actually increase to greater nutrient absorption, greater breakdown of those digestive enzymes and everything like that. So
Yeah.
talk to your food. No.
Well, there's a part of the nervous system called the autonomic nervous system, and we've heard of the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic is the fight or flight. Somebody comes up and you wig out. All right, parasympathetic is more of a calming thing. So digestion, believe it or not, is part of parasympathetic. So you're sitting here in a room with lights staring at a screen, and all of a sudden now it turns out the Kardashians are from Mars and they're going to come and steal your lawnmower and take your Pokemon set. You're getting wigged out while you're trying to eat. You're not digesting your food.
Very true. All right, so and then this is the second point here. Artificial blue light from the LED bulbs in smartphones, TVs, and tablets can cause eye damage. Don't ask me how this works, but somehow LED light no longer contains the full spectrum of natural wavelengths. Having somehow made the light void of red and infrared wavelengths, the remaining blue-green light waves can cause myopia, nearsightedness, macular degeneration, blindness, obesity, diabetes, brain degeneration, and hormonal issues. Kind of a heavy price to pay for spending a fair amount of our dark hours scrolling social media and watching TV and eating. Go to bed. It's better for you anyhow. Think of this. Midnight. What does it mean? 12 a.m.? No. It means the middle of the night.
Midnight. It's the middle of the night. It means half of the night is gone. Midnight. Half of the night is gone, and you're just thinking about going to bed.
You should have been in bed and it's asleep at least 2 to 3 hours before. And here's another huge problem with nighttime screens and artificial lights. Three, and this is a biggie. Artificial blue light can trick the brain into thinking it is daytime, and as a result, alter and or even stop the production of melatonin, a hormone needed to go to sleep at night. So you won't be able to go to sleep. Ouch, kind of need sleep.
Yeah, and that's basically what happens. So in one of an earlier blog, we talked about that when you wake up first thing in the morning, you want to go outside. And I think we talk about this later on in this, but you want to get that early morning sun, which has the reds and yellows and all the rest of the stuff. You really don't start getting the blue waves until after 10 o'clock, between 10 and 4. But what that does is it stops your body from secreting melatonin and you start waking up. So the rays go into the eyes, and there's a chemical compound they just discovered in the retina called melopsin, and that says no more melatonin. So you go to bed, or so you start to wake up. The thing that's interesting is that if you wake up in the morning and start looking at blue-green screens, it's not enough to wake you up. However, when it's time to go to bed and you start looking at blue-green screens, it's enough to stop your body from secreting melatonin because it thinks it's daytime.
Yep. And don't think that this is us telling you to go take melatonin, because melatonin is actually a hormone that's secreted from your pituitary gland, which is a gland in your brain. And there's a really high risk of dependency and things like that, and you're essentially creating an external source for something your body should innately be making. So it's more of a band-aid on the situation than actually getting to the root cause of it.
Yeah.
So a number of blogs ago, I talked about the importance of sleep and getting between 7 to 9 hours each and every night. As they say, this is non-negotiable. So what's a girl to do? Limit screen time, use screen filters to lower blue light exposure, wear blue light blocking glasses, yellow tinted computer glasses, or glasses with anti-reflective lenses, and perhaps replace some of the light in your house with orange, red, yellow wavelength bulbs. I will tell you about a company that I use later. All right, so what about the other side of the coin? Natural light and natural blue light. Natural sunlight / daylight and natural blue light are part of the normal light spectrum and come from the sun. Natural blue light can do a lot of good things for us. Boost alertness, help memory, raise mood, and improve attention span and reaction time. Natural blue light is a good thing.
It wakes you up.
Yep. Morning blue light is what wakes us up by rising our cortisol levels and is activated when light hits our pituitary glands. It sets our circadian rhythm for the day. Blue light disappears by sunset, so melatonin can come out to play and help a person fall asleep. Light is the switch that controls this cortisol melatonin seesaw. Interestingly, the melatonin that is released at night to help you sleep is made during the day from the morning light. Oh no.
Well, so yeah, here's the thing, man, it just, what are we basically saying here? You need to shut these stupid screens off. I mean, after you've watched this video and hit like and, oh my goodness, that Dr. Dave, he's so wonderful, everybody needs to watch it. After that, shut the screens off and go get some sunlight.
Exactly. So it looks like a person might have to go outside and get some sun throughout the day. In fact, those who spend a few minutes each early morning exposed to the early morning sun, no sunglasses, no glasses or contacts, weighed less than those who were exposed to most of their bright light after 12 p.m. noon. So that's something that I've made a push to do, is when we wake up and we walk our dog kind of, around 6:30 or so, and I have someone with me, so it's safe to do this. I obviously wear glasses, so I'll take my glasses off. I'm not totally blind, but I know that I have someone there to make sure I don't accidentally walk into the street. And I don't stare at the sun, but I look adjacent. I really want those rays in my eyeballs to wake up those systems that need to be awake and kind of tell my brain, hey, we're not sleepy anymore. Let's get this day going and everything like that. Sunlight is 42% infrared light, and infrared light stimulates collagen, increases bone healing, and heals wounds. Infrared is proven to be anti-aging and reduces wrinkles and scars. Sunlight? I thought that stuff was deadly, isn't it?
That's what I thought. Doesn't the sun kill you? Isn't it horrible? Isn't it the worst thing in the world? But get what that says. So the infrared light that you get early in the morning and probably after 4 p.m. actually decreases wrinkles. It's an anti-aging sort of a thing. It heals scars. It helps you build bone. You want that.
Yeah.
You want that. And there's no app for it. That's the whole thing, I don't have a cell phone, so when people tell me about apps, I lose my freaking mind about it. There's no app for it. You go outside in the morning.
And there actually is an app for it, but in a little bit of a different way.
Nah, not that way. But and you don't have to sit in the sun. You need the sunlight. So you can sit in the shade. Obviously, you're not going to get as many of the rays as if you're out in the sun, but you'll still do really well. So.
And I think there's a really big push right now where the sun is becoming a villain. And really, if you let it work for you and with you, it can be really nice. Now, I'm not telling you to go outside with the tinfoil and the baby oil. That's just a bad idea. But getting outside for 20 minutes or so in that kind of solar noontime, which we'll go over, and actually getting the sun on your skin, no sunscreen, no clothes, within reason, but that actually increases the vitamin D absorption. It increases a lot of different systems in the body that are extremely helpful. Now it's smart sun exposure. When I go out in the sun, it's right in that solar noon, and it's 20 minutes max, you know, and it's not, you know, this whole you're getting out there and frying yourself by any means. That is dangerous.
And just as a point, so this early morning sun is not going to increase vitamin D production because you don't have any of the ultraviolet rays. So it's like, I go out for first thing in the morning. Now you got to get a little midday when and as we'll see in this, where the ultraviolet A and ultraviolet B rays are available.
So it says, in fact, in the early morning sunrise does not have UVA and UVB rays, which can be harmful if a person
It's like I
gets
wrote
too
this
much.
thing or something.
And actually, early morning sunlight preconditions your skin from any potential UVA and UVB rays that will come later in the day. In fact, a person will be less likely to burn later in the day as well, having gotten early morning infrared sunlight.
Isn't that interesting? So it looks like early morning sun would be your best SPF protector.
Yeah.
If you get those rays, it sets things and so on and so forth. Wow, how about that? Who'd have thunk it?
It's like
Mother Nature once again.
There you go.
Yeah.
So once again, what's a girl to do?
Yeah.
Make sure you take your absolute last bites 3 to 4 hours before going to bed. Once the sun sets, keep your house as dimly lit as possible. Turn those overhead lights off and limit all screens, making sure no screens at all at least an hour or so before you go to bed. Remember, the emanation of artificial blue light will trick our brains into thinking it is daytime and reduce the release of melatonin.
Time to wake up.
Try and wake up with the sun, with the rising sun, and get out there and get you some.
Yeah, go get you some. I love that term.
This will
Get you
decrease
some.
melatonin, increase cortisol, and you will start to feel awake. Between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m., it would be a good idea to get outside and get some UVA and UVB ultraviolet ray exposure. UVA is critical in making nitric oxide and is responsible for relaxing our vasculature and increasing our energy and memory, and is considered anti-aging.
And nitric oxide, but it relaxes the vasculature in, or the muscles in the vasculature. So guess what happens to the blood pressure? It goes down a little bit. How about that?
UVA also triggers the production of serotonin and dopamine and endorphins, providing a small opiate effect. This should make a person feel good about himself, encourage him to go for the gusto, and just feel better overall. UVB is for vitamin D synthesis. There is an app called D-Minder that can let you know when it is solar noon and it is the best time to synthesize vitamin D. I have found a company called Bedtime Bulbs, and they make a bulb that I use in my reading lamps at night and throughout the house. They have very minimal blue light emanation. In fact, each night before we go to bed, Dr. Diane and I sit under a bedtime bulb and read a couple of Dr. Seuss books. Since doing this, we have been getting 7 to 9 hours each night and have some of the wildest dreams.
Oh, amazing dreams.
Here is the link to Bedtime Bulbs. You should check it out. Something else that I've personally found, because I am part of the majority of the population that has a cell phone and all of the social medias, is I found myself getting into this rut where I'm just scrolling right before bed. Sure, I have my blue light blocking glasses on, but really I started to look at it and I started to think, what the hell am I doing? Am I learning something? Am I feeling better about myself? Is this promoting my health and wellness? Sure, sometimes the content I'm looking at is educational and it's, interesting, but really what would be better is taking that, and I'll be completely honest, 45 minutes to an hour that I'm sitting there scrolling and just go to sleep. You're doing yourself so much more good by actually going to bed than whatever hack you think you're gonna learn on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. So just go the hell to bed.
Yeah. And that's really true. It's, you're not missing anything.
Yeah.
I mean, really, you're not.
Yeah.
Just shut the crap off. And there's going to be a couple blogs. I've started writing them, and we'll see. They're going to be pretty interesting. But just kind of get the idea that it's all stories. Nobody knows anything. They just make up stories, and it either aligns with what you think or what it doesn't think. You know, when you look at the internet, you're not learning, you're not becoming a better person. You've already made your mind up based on something. So the things that align with you, with what you already know, these are good. Those that clash with it, these are bad. And it's like, come on, that's not an education. That's not a free thinking individual. You're just a programmed, hypnotized robot. And then you're just going to get yourself all cranked up before you go to bed. Just shut the crap off, really.
Go to bed.
And go to bed.
So as always, please let us know if you have any questions or would just like to talk about this stuff. I'm not really sure who else is available to help you, and a person really, really needs to handle their screen times in sunlight to really be healthy and well.
Yeah, and that's really the big point. I don't know where else you turn. You know, you really, all roads lead back to behavior. There's a drug for this, there's a supplement for that. Oh, you can eat these, the go-go berries are gonna make your hair curly and all the rest of the nonsense. But it all comes right back to behavior. What you do, what you don't do, and so on and so forth. And I don't know that there's very many healthcare professionals that are gonna walk this all the way back to behavior. You know, as silly as it sounds, you need to stop dropping that anvil on your foot if you want it to heal. And everybody laughs and they're like, oh, I get that. And then you see them standing there with the anvil. That anvil, that foot. Oh, I didn't know you were talking about me. Yes, I'm talking about you. And that's the whole thing. And I don't know where else you're going to go. Yeah, you can look on the internet, you can get all the stuff, but like I said, it will always align. If you read a book and it's like you got a marker, you're only highlighting stuff that you agree with and stuff that you kind of already know. Are you learning anything? Things should challenge. You know, we live in this scientific world. If somebody says blah-de-de-blah-de-de-blah, that should challenge what you know. And it's like, yeah, I guess what I know is okay. Or it's like, you know what? I guess that's crap. How about that? But it's something to think about. And again, I don't know where you go. You're going to go down to Dr. So-and-so or Mr. whatever on the internet or something along those lines. Maybe, hopefully they do. But you really need to become a student of life. And there was an expression, I don't know who said this, but there's some noise from you, harken back to the last video. But know thyself. And that's the most important thing. We're looking at ways to put people on Mars, but you don't even know who you are. We're looking at trying to build a space station on Pluto. We're arguing whether Pluto's a planet or not. And you don't even know who or what you are. All right. Take care. This is Dr. Dave. And I hope you enjoyed that. Hit the likes or do whatever you need to do so we're inspired to keep doing this.
All right. See you guys later.
Later.
I think that turned it off.
Oh, that good.
Hopefully I didn't just start it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that was the start button.